Hey guys, welcome back into the channel, and the time is finally here. The MLB postseason is set to get underway tomorrow night from Toronto. The AL wildcard game between the Toronto Blue Jays and the Baltimore Orioles. This should be a tremendous matchup. On paper, it looks to be about as even as you could possibly get. Two teams that went 89 and 73, came down to the last day to decide who was going to be in, who was going to have home field. Ultimately, Toronto gets the home field despite the fact that they have identical records due to the fact that they host the tiebreaker, or they have the tiebreaker between the two teams. And wouldn't you know, the tiebreaker is head-to-head matchups, and Toronto owns the lead in that with a 10-9 advantage. 10-9. And this is one of those games, you look at, I'm on here to throw out a little analysis, throw out a prediction just for the fun of it. And with this game, it's about as big of a guess as you could possibly have. I mean, there's nothing, as far as the numbers I look at, there's nothing that screams, you got to pick this team, or you got to pick that team. It's kind of just split right down the middle, and you got to go with your gut. As far as the two teams in the matchups this year, they played 19 times, as I said. 10 of those times were in Toronto. Toronto was 6-4 in the Rogers Center this year. They outscored the Orioles 97-81 in 19 games. So, in the Orioles wins, they tended to be a little bit more of a difference as far as they would win by more runs, while when Baltimore won, they tended to be a bit closer. And, something I really thought was important looking at the teams is the fact that Baltimore, was outstanding at home this year, winning over 50 games. But on the road, they were 3 under. This is a team that did not have success on the road. And when you get to the postseason, if you can't win on the road, that's going to be an issue. Now, I'm sitting here asking myself, is it that Baltimore can't win on the road? Or is it just, one of those stats that really doesn't mean a whole lot, and they just happen to have a little bit of an under 500 record on the road? That's something you got to think about. As far as the pitching matchup, it was just announced. You got Chris Tillman going for the Orioles, was their opening day starter. Got off to a terrific start. Has not been as good as of late. He was 16-6 this year with a 3.77 ERA. So, real good numbers. But as I said, he hasn't been as good lately. And then you got, for the Blue Jays, you got their opening day starter, Marcus Stroman, who finished the year 9-10 with a 4.37 ERA. Did not have the type of year that I'm sure he expected to have, and the type of year that the Blue Jays were expecting him to have. But, when you really think about it, at this point, you got Aaron Sanchez, you got J.A. Happ, you got Francisco Liriano. I mean, he's really became their 4th, 5th starter. But he's starting the playoff game in large part because of Sanchez and Estrada, and those guys had recently pitched. So it really came down to the decision as far as whose spot it was in the rotation. It came down to Francisco Liriano and Marcus Stroman. Who were they going to go with? And they ultimately decided to go with Marcus Stroman, who, like I said, was their opening day starter, while Liriano was acquired at the deadline from Pittsburgh. Hadn't been there very long, but we'll see if this is the right decision tomorrow. Stroman's obviously a bit younger, a little bit less experienced than Liriano has. But, Stroman, I know he has that real good two-seam fastball. I'll be honest, I haven't seen a whole lot of him this year. I know, I've seen him pitch probably 10, 15 times since he's been in the big leagues. But as far as this year, I've only seen him probably a handful of times, maybe 3, 4 times. I did see his opening day start against Tampa Bay. Saw one of his starts against the Yankees this year. Maybe 1 or 2 others, but I know as far as his repertoire, I know what he brings to the table. And we've all seen Chris Tillman. We know what he brings to the table. But some other interesting things is the fact that since the wild card game has been instituted, the American League wild card home teams are 1-3. And that includes Baltimore going on the road and winning the very first wild card game, I believe it was like 3-4 years ago, out in Texas, beating Yu Darvish. This is a team, and when they won that game, what was it, 4 years ago, they have 7 guys on the current team that was on that team. So Baltimore is a team that's a group of guys that's been together for quite a while now, an experienced group of players. But, Toronto's got some experience too. They were in the postseason last year. They're a fun team to watch. But all in all, I look at this game and you think this game is not probably going to be controlled by the pitchers. Not to say that the starters can't have any success, but when you look at the National Wildcard game that'll take place Wednesday night, you expect that game to be a 2-1, type ball game. While with this game, you wouldn't be surprised to see it 6-5, 7-6, 8-6, something like that. If each starter can go 5 to 6 innings, the teams I'm sure would be happy with that. But this is definitely going to be a game that you would think would be decided by the offenses. Both teams throw out a lot of power. You know, when the Orioles, you got Manny Machado, he had 37 home runs. You have Adam Jones, 29 home runs. Trumbo with 47. Davis with 38. So you see a lot of power on the Baltimore lineup. With the Blue Jays, you got Donaldson with 37. Encarnacion with 42. Batista with 22. Tulowitzki with 24. Saunders with 24. Martin with 20. Ton of power throughout both offenses. And, you know, in my opinion, the way I see this game going, and again, this is a complete and total guess, and you have no idea what was going to happen. I mean, wouldn't be surprised to see the game be 2-1 tomorrow, and then have the NL wildcard game be a high-scoring game. You just never know when it comes to the MLB playoffs. But just based off of what you would think would happen, you see a high-scoring game, at least each team scoring at least 4 runs. And at the end of the day, for me, it comes down to which team has, you know, because each team's probably going to have some home runs, but which team hits the home run with more than one, or, you know, a solo shot or one guy on base. The team that hits that grand slam, hits that 3-run homer, hits 2 2-run homers. You know, I think if each team hits 2 home runs, say, if one team hits it with 3 runners on and 2 runners on, and the other team hits 2 solos, well, then the team that hit with the guys on base is going to win. And that's how I see this game coming down, or being decided, is which team hits the big homer with the guys on base, because each team's probably going to hit some bombs. And at the end of the day, going back and forth, because Baltimore has been playing well the last 9 games, coming in at 7-2. But I'm going to go with Toronto in this game. And I know a lot of people are picking Baltimore, despite the fact it's in Toronto. But I like Toronto in this game because I like that offense. I know their offense hasn't been as good lately. Certainly hasn't been as good this year as it had been in previous years. But Donaldson, Encarnacion, Tulowitzki, Batista, that lineup, in my opinion, is more scary than that Baltimore lineup. And that Baltimore lineup is good. There's no doubt about it. It's just, in my opinion, which lineup is better? Which lineup would I fear more in a big October baseball game? And for me, that's Toronto. And we saw Toronto's fans last year. They're a loud bunch. They really get into the game. I know the teams are 1-3 in the AL wildcard games, but I really think the crowd's going to play a factor tomorrow. And I like Toronto to win this game. I think it'll be close. I think it'll come down to the end, and I think there'll be a lot of runs scored. But in the end of the day, in my opinion, Toronto wins the game, heads to Texas to take the Rangers on in the ALDS. And boy, oh boy, would that be an exciting matchup to see the Odor, Batista, you know, they had the big fight earlier this year. To see them guys going at it in the ALDS would certainly be exciting. 2 high-powered offenses. Hopefully we'll be able to see that. But even if we don't, I mean, Baltimore's got a high-powered offense too, so that'd be fun to see as well. But I'm going to go with Toronto to represent the AL wildcard and go into the LDS. But we'll see what happens. This is the beginning of the baseball previews on this channel. There's going to be previews of every game, reviews of, I can't promise every game, but probably almost every game. Channel's going to be flooded with videos for the next month, so be sure to check in, tune in, subscribe, like the videos if you haven't. Comment down below your opinions on the games, your predictions. I'm always interested to see what you guys think. But all in all, can't be more excited to have the playoffs start tomorrow. They get out on their way tomorrow at, 7 o'clock, I believe. So we'll see what happens. I'll be back tomorrow night probably for a review of the AL wildcard game, and then I'll be back Wednesday morning to preview the NL wildcard game. So thanks for checking in, guys. See you tomorrow. I'm out.